Well, my wife called me up the other day and said she's having trouble with our sink. Our fixture in the sink isn't working properly. When she turns the water on, no water comes out. So, I thought that was kind of weird. We have the same exact fixture over here. Glacier Bay, you can see that right there. It's hard to read, but it's written Glacier Bay, that's what it is. But this one works fine. So first thing I did is I go, well, a lot of these things have little aerators in here at the ends, and they get clogged up. You get calcium in the pipes and stuff, and you know, it clogs up the end. And I go, well, that makes sense. That would probably shut it down. So first thing I did is I take this off, and it's fairly simple. I pulled it out a little bit, and I didn't even need any tools to take this off. Pull that off, hold this, and then twist this off. So I'm thinking this end here is clogged up. But I'll check this out. If this is clogged up, without this on here, water should come out of here. Nothing. Well, obviously this is probably not the problem. So then my next step is, well, it's got to be the valve right here. It's an Allen wrench, I'm not sure what size. Turn the handle, there's a little hole in the back side here. You put your Allen wrench in there. It's kind of hard to find, but you find where the fitting is. Untwist it, and then you kind of have to wiggle it until you get it off. And that's what it kind of looks like inside. Allen wrench through the hole into the receiving screw head and loosen it, and it comes off of this. Well, how do I take the guts out of the faucet? Well, luckily I have these fancy dandy reverse pliers here. And I take this outer ring off. It came off by hand. Just holds it off and exposes this. I did notice there's a flat spot here and a flat spot on the other end. So you could use a big wrench to get that off. But since I have these adjustable, reversible pliers here, I can just get it started and untwist it out. Need a little more. Got to turn the water off. Remember, always turn the water off first. That was dumb. Luckily I had a tray down here, because earlier I was trying to find out if these valves were bad, and they weren't. They're in good shape. No loss. I need to clean out under here anyway, and luckily I'd already pulled all the stuff out and put a tray under here. Just dumb luck. I kept damage control to a minimum, and pretty much the mess is cleaned up, back to square one. Okay, back to where we were before, as we were taking this thing out. Before I forgot to turn the water off, I made a big mess. But anyway, just unscrew this, and this baby comes out, the cylinder here. This got to be the problem. Because what else could it be? There's no point in recreating what I've already done. But basically I have two fixtures exactly the same. Not every house has that, but I do. I like to have a lot of food parties. But anyway, I took this and I put it in this fixture and took this one out and brought it back over here. This is actually the one that was in there. And the old one, the one that did not work in here, is working fine over here. So it's safe to say, it's not the valve. I put the valve, the good valve, the one that came out of there, in here just to double check, put it in there, and as you saw before, it did not work. So, that's where I'm at. Is I'm going to try to back blow some air down here, through here, and it should come out here. And hopefully whatever is obstructing it will also come out. That's wonderful. Not every day stuff like that happens. The ground just came out of my plug. It's in the wall. Lucky for me, I got a pair of needle nose pliers. Pull it out. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Alright, so in theory, if I blow air into here, whatever is obstructing that hopefully will come out this end. And just in case there's a bunch of water in there, I'll use a little cup. Nothing's coming out. I'm going to go this way in case there's some kind of check valve in there that I don't know about. Well, that didn't seem to work. I got a brazing rod. It's pretty small. Hopefully you fit. And there's no restriction here. I got a spool of this really thin wire. It's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch thick. This, what I used before, was about an 1/8 inch and much stiffer. This one, hopefully I can feed this thinner one in, and it will actually make the bends. This actually doesn't come out like this. It actually, this hose goes down below the counter, makes a loop. There's some kind of quick disconnect. It's actually a quick connect. I'm not sure if it's a quick disconnect. But anyway, so I'm going to get a longer piece. Something long enough to do the whole loop. I need a piece that's probably going to be, what is that, about 1 foot, 2 foot to there, underneath the sink. It's like 2 foot above and about 1 foot down to here, and maybe another foot, so maybe 5 foot altogether, this part. And here's that disconnect I was talking about. I don't see any pins or clips to separate it, so these tabs pull loose, but I don't see any way to separate it without, actually breaking it. There's no tab in here, is there? No. Nothing on this side either, I don't think. Anyway, that's my last resort. I have a feeling it could be clogged in this thing somehow. It's kind of a sharp end. And I'll see if I can feed this. Now hopefully I can get this to go all the way through. It's meeting resistance somewhere. Just swirl it around a little bit. Well, I don't think that really did anything, but let me try blowing some air and see. Whoa! That fixed it, evidently. I'm getting air out of here. I don't know what came out of it. Oh, that's weird. I don't get any air that way. Evidently, there is some kind of a check valve in there, because it doesn't go this way. Well, I'm thinking there's a check valve in there that got stuck, and I got it unstuck. So I'm going to put it all back together and see if it works. This is what it looks like on the inside. I don't know if this little gasket here I can pull out, because I can put it back on the other part when I put it in. But evidently there's some kind of a check valve in here that I don't know if you can even get to. But it's apparently working now, so let's go with that. Well, hopefully that fixed the problem. Use a little bit of plumber's grease on the gasket, or whatever this is, piece of plastic seal. And it goes on the back of the There's two little prongs in there, and they line up with these two here. Just stick this part in, kind of wiggle around till you feel it set. This valve here goes with the flat side in, and you just stick it over the top and thread it. Wipe the plumber's grease off my fingers. And tighten it up with my reverse pliers. Put this little ring on it. Make sure it works. And this guy goes back. And turn the water valve on. I'm just going to turn one on to make sure it works, and I'll turn the other one on over there in a minute. I don't have the end on here, so I'm going to pull it off just to... And bingo, it doesn't work. Wait a second.
Does it? It's not working?
No, it doesn't work. Even though I got air to go through there for a few minutes, I don't know why, but it's not working now. So, back to the drawing board. Well, I broke down and decided to get this stupid thing off, this easy quick disconnect, which I believe is the problem. And even though the guys at Home Depot said there was no check valve, I'm pretty certain this thing with the spring and everything is a check valve. It goes inside of this. There's a little spring with it, and there looks like to be one more or something similar inside it. This was inside of that. It did not come off easily. There's this part, when it's in there, this part is threaded onto the hose, and this part is stuck onto here. I bent these out so I could get in there with a couple of these small screwdrivers and bend these little clips out, and you have to do one on each side, and I couldn't get them, so I got frustrated and just snapped them off, and then it came right off. On the pipe up inside, this thing was on it. Now originally it was probably on here, and when you force it up on there, it goes over the pipe and holds this bottom piece together so it stays up there. But I believe that's where my problem is. I think I figured out what I'm going to do. I went ahead and took all the crap out of the inside of this. I just took my long brazing wire and just crammed it in there and knocked all the check valves out. 2 or 3. I really believe the purpose of those is if you have like your spigot laying in the water and somehow you turned off the water, it might get sucked back in, and your dirty water might get mixed in with the clean water. But I don't really think that's ever going to happen. It's probably some kind of real safety thing, so I'm just taking it out. And I broke the little clips off of here, so that creates a real problem. But what I'm going to do is I went ahead and put the little clip on here. It just pops on. It's a U-clip and just stuck on there. You can see the opening right here. And then I put a little plumber's grease on these two O-rings. And then my plan is just to it's back on to here. And it's only hand tight. So it's not hard to do. It's fine thread. And just kind of wrench it on there kind of tight. And make sure you don't get caught on any cables or hoses. Slide it back up onto there. As I cut a piece of plastic and I stuffed it in there, one on each side. And then I just tied in the back side. I just cut a piece of heavy duty plastic. Probably a wire tie would have worked. I did break this while I was doing it. I leaned against this, and this was a metal one, and it was rusted and snapped. So I replaced that with the plastic, and everything is good to go. Alright, now they got the bottom back on. What I'm going to do is put this ring, you put it on first. It's a decorative ring, doesn't really even need it, but it just looks a lot better with it. And that thread's back on top of there. There it is. Working fine with no check valves. Enjoy my videos? Please subscribe. No Tombstone is my channel.